Goldilocks, hey, congratulations on your music and on your upcoming album.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gig. Nice to meet you guys.
Hey, not a problem, not a problem. Thank you for speaking with us. Let's start off with the easy question here. How do you describe your music, Goldilocks?
I describe my music, well, genre-wise, I describe it as like a fusion of reggaeton, hip hop, pop, and just like good vibes. Like my goal with my music is really just to like make people have a good time. Everybody feel confident and make sure that everybody feels like they're included in the party. You know what I mean?
So when did you start your music career? Did you start it young, like a lot of musicians do?
I don't know if I would say I started my career young. I started playing music at a really young age and like being interested in it and like learning different instruments. But I wouldn't say that my music career started that young. I would say I started taking myself seriously as a musician maybe at like the age of 19, 20. Before then I kind of just saw it as like a hobby. That's my dog, Toby, by the way. He's very opinionated.
That's all right. How, how did you know that at the age of 19, 20 that you wanted this to be your career then?
Well, I kind of just like didn't see myself doing anything else, like I entertained college and entertained the thoughts of other careers, but really when it came down to it, the only thing that I could see myself doing full time, all the time, for a long time was music, so I was like, listen, you only get one shot at this thing called life, so let's go.
That's true. You do only have one shot. You might as well make the best of it, right?
Absolutely.
So who influenced your music?
Baby, tráemelo.
Who influenced?
I'm gonna bring Toby because he's not gonna stop barking. What was the question?
I was gonna say who influenced your music? Who are some of the artists that actually or music that actually influenced you?
Well, there's been so many artists over the years that have influenced me. Like I think when I was younger, I was really, really influenced by like Kanye West and people like Regina Spektor, people like Action Bronson later on. But right now, the people that I'm listening to the most are probably like J Balvin, Bad Bunny, people like that. People who are really revolutionizing the pop industry and like bringing everything we want to it. Because I think, as time goes on, language is starting to matter less and less. So the way that people are experimenting with music is different. Stuff is getting spicier and better than ever, in my opinion.
That is true. Well, let's talk about. You just released a new single, and in fact, it's the sixth single out of your new album, La Que No. Could you talk about that and tell us where did you get the inspiration for this song?
Just thinking back on memories and people that I've met and experiences that I've had. Like it's always so funny how, especially nowadays, people always try to play off their crushes or act like they're too cool, like nobody wants to really admit how they feel. People are scared to show that vulnerability. And a lot of people get mad at it. I just think it's cute, because I was suffering from that disease. So, that's kind of where the inspiration came from, kind of shedding light and poking fun on that I'm too cool kind of mentality that a lot of people have,
Where do you for the rest of the year, the songs that you actually come up with, where do you pull these inspirations from?
Just from memories, from the muses. Also, I'm a firm believer in the muses. Like when I'm in the studio, actually in my studio right now. When I'm in the studio, I swear to God, I feel sometimes like muses are literally just like getting in my head and making these movies, and I just want to get them out in a physical way, be able to hear them back, so a lot of that comes from there and just from like past experiences You know, sometimes you got to digest things in a little bit more of a physical way, you know.
Now, for a lot of your fans, your album, Future Famous, is hopefully completed and coming out soon. Could you talk about the process and how proud you are, what we should be expecting out of this album?
Sure. This is my first time making an album, mixtape, anything like that, any body of work. You know, I think I've always like focused on singles and just, yeah, as soon as something hot gets ready, just give it to the people. You know, this is the first time that I actually sat down and tried to come up with a full body of work meant to be listened from start to finish, you know. And yeah, I'm definitely proud. I mean, I'm excited, you know. I can't wait to actually get it out. You know, the album kind of starts off in one mood, and then we kind of travel through a couple of moods until we finally get to the end. And I really just can't wait for people to hear it, you know, especially all my bilingual people out there who understand English and Spanish. You know, like it's not a gimmick. Like I'm saying what I mean and how I really feel in a lot of these songs in both languages. So I'm very excited to be able to put out a body of work that speaks the way that I think and I speak, you know? So I'm really excited about that. And the whole Future Famous concept is just like, you know, manifesting your reality, you know? Like it's like that quote Muhammad Ali had, that like he believed he was the greatest before he actually was the greatest. And that kind of mentality, I think it's really valuable, you know? Like it's not about like the vanity of fame or anything like that. It's really about like making sure that you're becoming the person that is supposed to be where you are trying to be in the future. You know what I mean? Like make sure that you manifest not only what you want, but manifest these things inside of yourself actionably so that you can level up and fit those shoes that you're trying to wear to the party. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Now, could you talk about your self-producing experience? Because not a lot of musicians will actually self-produce. They will require like recording companies to help out and all this kind of stuff. Talk about your journey here.
My journey really it was born out of necessity. Like, you know, when I started, you know, making reggaeton and working as a solo artist, like about two almost 3 years ago, I couldn't find the beats that I wanted to hear anywhere. And if I did, they're beats that everybody was using, you know, like I couldn't find that originality, that something special that would just speak to me, that would, you know, like represent me. So I was like, shit, I gotta make it. Can I curse on the show? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it. It's
But you know, I was like,
you could curse all you want.
awesome. Shouts out to the internet. But you know, I wanted to hear something that spoke to me, and the only option was to learn how to do it. So I've been blessed, you know, to know a lot of good people that have helped me out along the way, taught me a lot, to have like be surrounded by so many good people that I work with. Like, you know, my mixing engineer, Kevin Cutler, that guy puts me on to so much stuff. He's just an invaluable coach in this, you know, and also my manager, Rebecca, and everybody else kind of like pushing me all the time, you know, because I wouldn't have made an album. Like the truth of the matter is I wouldn't have made an album if it wasn't for my manager being like, you should try to make an album. And I was like, all right, it's time to make an album.
That's excellent for you. This is terrific.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by good people. What can I say?
That's true. You always need to be surrounded by good people. That's how the success for musicians actually happen.
Absolutely.
During the past year, the pandemic has kind of turned the music industry upside down because we can't do performances and all this kind of stuff. How did you actually cope with that during the past year? I'm assuming just by writing music during this entire time.
I mean, definitely writing music. The entire album was recorded actually in quarantine. So like I actually recorded 8 out of the 13 songs in the literally in 2 days, because we were going into lockdown and it was like not allowed to fucking go to studios anymore. And so I actually built the studio. I built the studio afterwards, you know. So a lot of beautiful things happened because of quarantine, but we never stopped doing shows. Never stopped doing shows. We did one show live on Twitch for Amazon for their Together at Home concert series. And we did a show for the Festival of Lights and Sounds that raised money for the National Bailout Fund. We did shows with Left Bank Magazine. We did so many virtual shows during the quarantine because, like, you know, just because you can't get out to a venue doesn't mean that you don't still have the responsibility of keeping your peoples entertained. Like, this is entertainment. It's not like at your convenience, you know, like it's like people want to see something, so put on a show. So we never stopped, but we got a whole bunch of shows coming. Actually, we got a show June 8th at Berlin in the Lower East Side for the album release. So with a lot of cool artists, it's going to be fun. And we're going to do shows all summer, baby.
That's true. Everything's opening up. Can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait to be.
Yes, we are outside.
Well, one last thing, you know, for people who don't know, how did you choose the name Goldilocks for yourself?
Well, that's a good question. So, first of all, I think it sounds very cool. And I chose the name Goldilocks actually a really long time ago, before I even was like serious about music. I really like the name. So originally it comes from, you know, the fact that like I like everything like perfect. I'm like a little bit of a perfectionist. So like I don't want anything too hot or too cold or too big or too small. Like I can be a little bit of a perfectionist, you know? So that idea kind of resonates with me. And then also, you know, when I was a kid, I was blonde. I had really blonde hair like this. Not anymore. As I grew older, it got darker. But, you know, that kind of memory of me as a kid, you know, that image that I have of like the child brain that lives inside every creative person, you know, so that has something to do with it. And then when I was deciding if I really wanted that to be my name, I did some research and I found out that there's this super villain from, I don't remember if it's DC or Marvel universe, because I don't know too much about comics, but in one of those two universes, the super villain that like has the power of persuasion with her hair, and like she was like super interesting. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of cool stuff here going on with Goldilocks. There's like a lot of different vibes. And I was like, yeah, that I like that. It works for me.
You know what? I love it. I love it too. That's a terrific story on how you got your name. Well, just to let fans know, when do we expect your new album to come out?
Oh, the new album is coming out June 4th. If no random acts of the universe come and intervene, the album is going to be available everywhere June 4th. And we're going to celebrate that fact at Berlin under A, June 8th. So yeah, I'm excited. I've been listening to it nonstop. We got a whole bunch of music videos coming out for the video. I mean, it's going to be sick. And actually, you can pre-order it now on Bandcamp or on the link in my bio. Yeah, we're ready to go. The album is ready. I can't wait to share it with the world. Shouts out to Kevin Cutler for mixing and mastering that album, and Nick DePorcel for mastering a bunch of the single versions of the songs of that album. You know, it's exciting stuff. It's gonna be good.
That's awesome. This is very exciting. Well, hey, Goldilocks, hey, thank you for speaking with us about your music, your album, and everything else.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate it too. Thank you. Next time.
Hell yeah. Let's talk soon. Stay in touch. And everybody go pre-save Future Famous.
We will. Thank you.
Peace.